I'm here this semester with, I'm adjuncting for Upper Iowa University, Gordon College, and starting in the fall, I'll be with ABAC. I do still have my personal things that I do as well. But this is meant to actually not just educate the public, but also to educate really also my students. And I have here that Viola kid, Drew Forde, and we first met, I don't know how many years ago, but we were both undergrads at Mercer. And this is not my
Hmm.
first time interviewing you. So
It's great to be back.
it's
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much for fitting us in. And of course, the reason why I'm talking to you, I want to talk to you anyway, but also, your big news is you're on the Bridgerton season 3 soundtrack. That is amazing. So, why don't you start out telling us about you, how you got started, and we'll just keep this casual.
Okay, cool. No problem. So, thank you so much for having me again. It's really great to be here. So from the beginning, I started playing when I was 12. My name is Drew Alexander Forde from Peachtree City, Georgia.
There
So,
you go.
it's a part of Georgia where all the Delta pilots, you know, that work at Hartsfield Jackson, they go and they start their families and good school systems.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate. So my middle school, when I was graduating from elementary to middle school, my middle school had an orchestra program, and it was
Wow.
budding at the time. It was in a small auxiliary room in front of the bathrooms, on the side next to the gym. It was like the most throwaway place. And now that's that middle school got upgraded, got a brand new school, and the orchestra room is like massive. It's
Wow.
massive. It's really grown. And so I got I got very lucky that I had a great orchestra teacher. So
So you're a
her name is
poster child
Amanda
for
Moran.
the arts being involved early.
It's like public school education, public school arts. It gives kids an opportunity to find a path for their life that they can begin compounding experience from a very young age.
Yeah.
I'm 32 right now, but I've been playing weddings, I've been playing dinner parties, and all sorts of different things since I was in high school. I've been,
Wow.
I think, since I was like 14, 15 years old. So I longer than, so I've been doing this for 18 years. I've almost been in this business for 20 years,
Wow. Wow. That's
which is
amazing.
which is like all experience that stacks.
Yeah.
It's not
That's
just
awesome.
about playing the instrument. It's about the business. It's about how do you
Yes.
deliver value to clients.
Well, and isn't, in my understanding, and I'm going to kind of jump into the Mercer experience here, but my
Sure.
understanding that something that's different about Mercer's music department is that they really do talk about the business aspect of things. Or am I getting that wrong? Or
It's an ever evolving curriculum. So when I was there, I graduated 10 years ago from Mercer.
wow,
So even the program now is very different than the one that I inherited. And I think it's like it has compounded beautifully and it's really in depth.
yeah,
I can only speak to my time when I was there.
yeah,
Okay. I
yeah,
just want to say that. But what is very clear is each one of the faculty members has a diverse portfolio career as artist entrepreneurs. And seeing that really it clicked with the type of person I am. I crave variety. I crave to become a better musician every single day, and I crave to play genres that aren't just classical music. Many people, Mr. McDuffie, Amy Schwartzman Reddy, they encompass this idea that you can play more than classical and you can do it at a very high level and make high art, and you can sustain a living, not only sustain a living, but have a wealthy lifestyle with children,
yeah,
with marriage, with owning property. These are
yeah,
things that even millennials find very daunting and challenging.
Yeah.
Um, so
So
yeah,
that's
I
amazing.
learned that it's possible. You know?
That's awesome. So when you graduated from Mercer, and I've
Mhm.
kind of kept up with you here and there, um, and it seems to me, at least, just from at least outside looking in, it seems like you've always had a very robust social media presence as well. And like I remember noticing when you hit 100,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like, "Whoa, dude,
Oh
he's
yeah,
doing it." So, do you think that
yeah.
social media really like helped you in this regard?
Oh, it's critical. It was critical. It's a critical differentiator. Um, and I started my social media journey in my senior year at Mercer.
Okay.
So 2013, September 29th, 2013, I bought a smartphone for the first time and I
Okay.
downloaded Instagram. I read a few books, kind of discovered through trial and error how to create content that is compelling, that connects with people. And I did that consistently over a very long time, like 7 years, posting
Yeah.
every single day. And
Wow.
it took about 7 years to hit 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So slow and
It's a
steady
slow burn.
gets you.
Yeah.
I mean, I just hit 40,000 myself, and I think I. When did I first get on Instagram? I mean, I think I was working at W May Z, so that was 2011. I mean, it just. And
Hmm.
I've only recently gotten really disciplined about posting every day, sometimes twice a day.
I mean, it's a volume issue. That's what I'm starting to understand. It's not only just quality, but it's volume. And it's not volume to like try to beat an algorithm, but it's just like to get better at doing the thing.
Yeah.
Because doing the thing is hard. People think it's easy,
No.
but content creation is very hard.
Do you do
Yeah, it
you
takes a lot of energy.
do you feel like you had a lot of moments that were like where you had to learn as you were doing it, like you had to like not be afraid of failure?
Hmm. I mean, all of it. I had friends making fun of me when I was doing this thing called Journey to Juilliard. It was my first ever campaign that was chronicling my journey to try to audition and get into Juilliard.
Wow.
And so a lot of my friends that will remain nameless, but they were people in the McDuffie Center were like, Journey to the bathroom,
Uh,
Journey to the class now, just like kind
yeah.
of giving me shit for it. Sorry,
No,
I
it's
don't
it's
mean to.
okay. We can be unscripted here. It's totally fine.
Okay,
I don't worry
okay.
about
Now I'm
that.
gonna keep
I tend to curse as
keep
well.
it
It's just what
clean.
it is.
It just slipped out,
It's fine. It's totally
because
fine.
we talking. Uh, that being said, you have to have the vision in your mind so clear that whatever people are saying,
It's
they
just
just don't see
noise.
the vision,
Yeah. You just tune it out.
and that's okay. You just gotta like focus, and so that's what I did. And I literally, so Journey to Juilliard, I literally had somebody who commented on my Bridgerton announcement post and was like, "I remember Journey to Juilliard," and that was like
Wow.
11 years ago. It was 11 years ago.
Wow. Oh my
So there's
gosh.
power in like the storytelling of
Yeah.
social media, and so I think, yeah, I think that really plays a differentiating part in even selecting me for opportunities or just like trying to get to know me as a person, because oftentimes we're so classical musicians, string players especially, we're so inside
Mm.
and practicing and scrutinizing that we're afraid to put stuff out because that's when it can be judged,
That's
right?
a good point. So you kind of have to, you got to get over the fear of the judgment, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, and it'll never go away. So it's just like a situation where you just like have to do it or you just don't.
Yeah.
And
No, I get that. So you've, it sounds like you're also saying that because you put everything out there, it's not just the social media thing. It's people are invested in you and your story.
oh yeah, 100%. The one thing I know to be very true about humans is that we connect to stories,
Yes.
and it is something that has existed It's in our like genome to collect information and representations of reality in the world around us through stories. That is
Yeah.
the lens that we connect with people through,
Very
right?
cool.
And so if
Yeah.
you can really learn to be a better storyteller, it really can impact it can change the impact of your message, whatever
Yeah.
your message is.
That makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna get to Bridgerton in a little bit, and I do have some
Oh, it's all
viewer
good.
submitted questions. But before we get there, um, so what are you doing now? Can people come and see you? How can they know what's going on? What are you performing?
Oh, I'm a professional violist in Los Angeles, so I perform uh, concerts, recording sessions. It's really weird and hard to describe what I'm doing because it's all over the place.
Yeah.
So last night I was playing for a brand new piece that was being commissioned to honor Bob Peak, who was a famous artist in the movie scene
Okay.
here in LA. And about 10 composers took pictures at an exhibition and then reinterpreted it as a new piece with 10 movements called Pictures at an Exhibition, pictures of like Bob Peak. So they had his
Okay.
pictures on a projector, and it was the inaugural show, or not the inaugural show, but it was like a show by this orchestra
Okay.
called the LA Film Orchestra. And it's a
Wow.
project that's like kind of on the ground, but it's really making some waves.
Wow. Okay. That's
Yeah.
very
So
cool.
I did that, and
Okay.
then next week I'm playing Hollywood Bowl for a Juneteenth show with T Pain.
Okay. With T Pain?
Hmm.
Wow. Look at
Yeah.
you.
So I share all these different things and ways people can connect with me through my
Yes.
newsletter.
Yes.
I let people know kind of work that's going on in my life because posting on social media, it's good to show things, but I'm busy doing the work. I don't have time to like share it all in the
Yeah.
way that like in the package that social media requires.
Yeah.
It's just better to say, hey, I'm doing this, yada yada. You can get tickets here, promo code, yada yada.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes musicians like myself, when we're performing, we're offered promo codes for people
Okay.
to buy tickets.
So
So
how can people
it
subscribe?
you can go to my website, violakid.com,
Okay.
and then you can go to Grace Notes, the Grace Notes tab at the top,
Okay.
and it'll have a little box there where you can give me your email, and then my system will take your email, and it'll allow you to get an email every Friday,
Okay.
where I just share kind of what I'm up to and some principles for artist entrepreneurship that I'm learning, have
Okay.
learned, and that I'm curious about.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. Okay. So, as we're kind of about to ease into the Bridgerton stuff, I do want to very quickly also thank my own sponsors because,
oh
you
yeah,
know, that's just how it goes. You in this, being an artist entrepreneur, you have to kind of get a little creative. So
we're
I
thankful
will.
for sponsors.
I know,
We're
thankful for
thankful for
sponsors.
sponsors
Yes,
for
so
real. Yeah.
I will quickly thank Advanced Dental Arts, Mayo Hill Law, Barefoot Tavern, Medical Aesthetics Center of Georgia, Georgia CEO, Elson Bro on Forsyth Road, and Stephen Finney of Northwestern Mutual. Those are all my clients and sponsors. And I'm also going to say a thank you to the people that make this water bottle, Towel Hydration, because they were one of the sponsors of the influencer trip I just went on, not terribly far from you, in Palm Springs, California. And also my new
Very
favorite perfume,
familiar.
Dossier. Yeah. So there we go. So we got that out of the way. So okay, Bridgerton. And this is also a viewer question, but it's also what I want to know. How did this happen?
it it's like a I will say in short, it is only who you know. Like it's not something you audition for. It's something you hope for. It's something you hope that happens, but it's not something you can plan or you can mechanize necessarily. Um, I'll explain a little bit why.
Networking is key.
I have networking. I have a relationship with Chris Bowers.
Okay.
I've played on a few of his movies in the Los Angeles movie scene, and we've been to really cool functions together. One very notably through Juilliard because we're both alumni. We had dinner with John Williams, and he like was sitting down and like
What?
yeah, like gave us a speech. Not a speech, but was just talking about his life. Was having like a panel interview.
Oh my god,
Then we
that's
all had
so
dinner,
cool.
and it was
Williams.
like kind of in a dope place downtown. It was a vibe. It was cool. So like seeing each other, and like he also was so gracious to be on my podcast, Faking Us podcast, when we were regularly recording. And
Wow.
yeah, so even going back to when I first moved to Los Angeles, when I started getting my first recording session calls for TV, one of the projects was Dear White People.
Okay.
And so Chris Bowers was the composer for that. And so I kind of had a little bit of a touch point, and that was our first time kind of being in the same,
Wow.
force field. Yeah.
That's very cool. And I will say, I kind of wondered how much of that, even before with Bridgerton, you may have been involved in, because I love listening to classical music, and I had run across I think, Vitamin String Quartet.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah.
look in their bio, and they name you as somebody they've played with in their Spotify bio. I was like, I know him. What?
That's I Vitamin is such an enduring brand that's been so inspiring for me for my entire like time that I've played my instrument. From sixth grade, I've known about when I picked up the viola. That's when I first learned about Vitamin String Quartet.
Wow. Okay. That's incredibly cool. So, one person did ask if this is your first season that you've been involved with, or have you been involved in other seasons of Bridgerton?
Oh no, it was literally just one track.
Okay.
It was a cover of Tori Kelly's "All I Want," and it's an original song for Bridgerton. It's like their first original, and so Chris Bowers wrote the cover version of that. And so
Okay.
I haven't gotten that. My girlfriend and I are watching the season together.
I've already watched all of them.
I haven't seen all of them yet. I think we're like on episode 6.
I'm already
or
on
so.
round 2.
I haven't. You're on round 2. Okay, run it back. There's a lot. The exposition and the dialogue is so quick.
Yeah.
It takes a couple watches like capture
Yeah.
everything and
It does.
stay up to date. But what I'm really excited to see is like how they used the track that I recorded on. But I will say some friends of mine, this guy named Aaron Paris, he has this like string collective and artist collective called Strings from Paris, and they got featured on this Bridgerton as well. And they were featured during the very long sex scene.
Okay.
And that was their track. That was their track that they recorded, and I was like, they have a really funny social media green screen post about that.
Oh, that's too funny. So like how does this get when you're literally, playing and doing all of this? What is are you in the room? Are you watching this TV show? Like how walk me through what that's like when you're physically doing it.
Well, I mean, it's in a lot of cases you're in a recording studio and you're given sheet music, and there's somebody in the booth. You have headphones, you have click, and the click plays as you record, either by yourself or with colleagues. It depends on how the session is being run. And like tracks contributed to Bridgerton have many different methods of being created.
Very cool.
But that being said, um, yeah, that's the traditional way that you record for television. Um, Honestly, my biggest projects that I've done were all remote, actually,
Okay.
except for the Beatles. That was not remote. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I saw that you did that. Yes. That's crazy. So wait, so where was that again? Where were you doing that?
I was at Capitol,
Wow.
the Capitol Records. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
crazy.
John Legend and Bridgerton, they were in my bedroom.
What did you do for John Legend? I missed that.
I played on Bigger Love. It won a Grammy.
Wow,
So
that's
yeah.
amazing. So, so what was your favorite part? And you know, Bridgerton's such a big thing right now. What was your favorite part of being involved with all this? Was it the actual playing, or was it? Tell us more.
Yeah. I loved the Tori Kelly song. When I was listening to it, I was like, "Oh, this is a hit." No, I really like this song, and I'm finding that I like a lot of Tori Kelly's music, which is I don't know why I haven't really delved into her discography. I really feel like I should have because she's a really good songwriter. Her textures, her rhythmic textures, her harmonic textures are very interesting, and yet they're very palatable.
Yeah.
So they can kind of be classified in pop, but there's a lot of like eyebrow raising stuff that she does, and like musician to musician, I like really respect it, and
Yeah.
I like I'm enjoying her music. So the fact that I got to play something by Tori Kelly, super sick. And so I then, because I was so inspired by the music, it made playing the verses and the textures and the ostinati and stuff. It made it so much easier.
So with this, like, do you get to even afterwards interact with anybody else that's a part of the cast? Like, how do they have any kind of cast events afterwards? No. Okay.
So, it depends. Not for Bridgerton because like I did that from the bedroom.
Right.
But I will say, um, what's interesting is sometimes for movies, actors, directors they'll come and talk to the orchestra. Like for Avatar,
Okay.
James Cameron came to the studio and talked to the orchestra, and it was really genial and really excited. So
that's so cool. So what would you say? What's been your favorite project, whether it's one we know about or not? That's so hard.
It's the one I haven't done yet.
Oh, good answer. Good
it's
answer.
The one I haven't done yet. I got one coming up next week that I'm really excited about. So,
are you allowed to say?
I really try to. Maybe
I gotta ask.
I think it's public. I think there's a Juneteenth show at Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, you mentioned that with T-Pain.
Search it up. Yeah,
didn't know if there was anything
T-Pain,
else.
I'm playing with Steve Hackman.
Okay.
I think it's at the Orpheum, and he's a composer, conductor, artist who makes really really wonderful arrangements of like popular music and fuses it with classical. I think you really like it.
Yeah.
He's doing Radiohead and Brahms, and so I'll be in the
Radiohead and Brahms. Yeah. I mean, just would have never thought about those two together.
And and that's cool. The fun thing. That's the creativity. Yeah. It's like, how do you bring these together?
Yeah, that's so amazing. So. And I don't want to keep you much longer because I know you're tired. You were performing last night, but what kind of advice do you have for college students these days, whether they're musicians or not? Like, if you could tell them anything about, because you have achieved some pretty amazing things, and many of my students are from not far from Peachtree City. They are public school students. They maybe don't think about dreaming big like this. What would you say to them?
I'm sorry. I just got an indication that my internet was slow.
Oh, sorry.
You still with? Am I still with you?
Yeah. I'm still with you.
No, is it okay? Like, am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. The advice I would say is be willing to wait. Like, there's going to be a long period of time where you're going to be working really hard and trying to build your career and nothing's happening. There's going to be a lot of that. And I think that what's critical to your career development or the development of your career capital is building a portfolio of works that you have done or achievements, things that you have created with your effort, with your planning, with your delegation, with your cooperation, with your getting other people to buy into your vision so you can create something, right? um, Go out and create and do it consistently so you can build your portfolio.
Yeah.
Because I think we're moving in a trend away from credentialed certificate diplomas being the litmus test because they're so ubiquitous and have been for decades.
Yeah.
What is rare, and we should always remember, value skews toward rarity and also toward novelty.
Yeah.
You want to build a portfolio of creative works while you are struggling to make ends meet. Because when you're struggling to make ends meet and you're doing the jobs that you really don't want to do, or maybe you're excited because you're just getting started out and you're like, they're going to give us pizza, go do that gig.
Yeah.
Because every every time you do that gig and you share your art and you get that practice in, that's practice, it's experience, and it's money in the bank in terms of career capital. But then once it gets to a point where somebody asks you, hey, can you do this for free, and then you feel like, I don't want to do it, you've graduated.
That's
You've
a
graduated.
good way of
Now
putting
you
it.
have standards. Now you're unwilling to do it. Now you cost something, right? And now you have to negotiate and exchange value for value. But oftentimes, when you're starting out, just being asked to do something is validation of your life as an artist. And that takes years to build.
Yeah.
Validation to feel like, wow, what I have is valuable. And it's okay if that takes a while.
Yeah.
A lot of it takes a while. But then the longer you stay in the game and the longer you build your portfolio of creative goods or creative, acts that you've shared with people, you then start seeing the returns multiplying
Yeah.
with more and more time.
That makes
You
sense.
see that with all the great artists. It's like about producing over time and continuing to refine and develop your art so that it changes as you change.
Yeah. And I have kind of a follow up with that. And I think you've kind of already answered this a little bit, but how how much do you think failure has played a role in your development or moments of
It's
failure?
critical. Failure is very valuable. Um, I like to call them L's because they're like, W's and L's, wins, losses. But the I feel like they're L's because they're not losses, but they're lessons. And if you learn the lesson and change your behavior, they're actually gifts too.
Yeah.
So the failure is good if you learn from it. And if you don't repeat that failure, you've leveled up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you just keep stacking those failures because they turn into the bedrock of your castle. They turn the bedrock of your experience. They allow you to build better systems for yourself, better contracts. I could go forever about like how long it's taken me to get comfortable changing and amending and adding things to my contract as things go wrong.
Yeah.
When I show up to do work, I'm like, dang, I really need to put that in the contract. People that they tried to get us to play in the rain.
I laugh because I've had those moments myself, even in the content creation world, where it's like, oh, I didn't think about this, or like letting somebody have rights in perpetuity, and now they do, and I could have been getting paid because of this, and damn, I've lost
They
on some
gotta
money.
rent it.
Huh?
They gotta rent your likeness.
Yeah.
They gotta rent your likeness. Don't let them own it.
That's
None of
right.
this through the universe stuff. Out of here.
Yep. That's awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'll chat with you a little bit after we stop recording, but I just really appreciate you taking the time to do this, especially after you had a night of performing. So, again, everybody, go to thatviolakid.com. Go ahead and follow Drew. Find him on Instagram. Keep up with what he's doing. Y'all, he's not just on the Bridgerton soundtrack, he's playing with T-Pain next week. You're going to want to follow him. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see if it'll stop.